I came to very soon.
Cursed spite that ever I was born to set it.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
This is the excellent foppery of the world.
In this country we have exams that you have to take when you're sort of 17, 18, called A-levels, and it's your final part of your schooling. So I was studying biology, chemistry and physics, and my English teacher was really sad that I didn't take English because she thought I'd be good at it. So she said, why don't you come on the A-level theatre trip, because you quite like acting and stuff. I'd never been to the theatre before, so I was 17, hadn't been to the theatre. I hadn't ever seen a Shakespeare play. I'd read a bit in English classes when I was younger, but they were going to see Hamlet. I didn't know what Hamlet is at all. I had no idea that it was even someone's name, and they were going off to the National Theatre, so I thought, oh well, what the heck, I might as well, because my two best friends were going. So I arrived at the Olivier Theatre and sat down in quite a negative frame of mind, because someone, as we went in, said this is going to be 3 hours, and I just thought, oh, why do I want to sit here for 3 hours and watch some play? But the theatre was quite impressive, and I was, enthralled by the occasion of the whole thing, and I sat in the theatre and the play started, and this ghost came out, and this man sees a ghost, and the ghost is his dad, and I got drawn into it. And by the end of the play, 3 hours later, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat just crying, thinking, that's what I need to do. I didn't know that that's really what great acting could do to thousands of people would follow this story, and I was amazed that I understood. I understood what they were talking about when they were talking to each other. I was not familiar with the language at all, and it took me a little while to tune my ear in, but once I did, it really took me somewhere else, and I kept being amazed. I remember over and over again that I could still understand what they were talking about. What I didn't know at the time, and I found out actually years later, was what I had seen was Ian Charleston's Hamlet, and the performance I had seen was 2 weeks before he died of an AIDS-related illness. So he had done Hamlet, and he'd taken over from Daniel Day-Lewis at the National. Now the story there is that Daniel Day-Lewis had gone on stage, and when he saw the ghost of his father, he had a strange moment on stage where he thought that it was a real ghost, and it frightened him so much that he decided he couldn't go on with the part anymore. Ian Charleston took over. That's the performance that I saw, and he was bloated from medication and stuff. He died 2 weeks later. And I didn't even know who Ian Charleston was. Which was great actually, because I didn't have that thing where I was going in and saying, I'm going to see so-and-so's Hamlet, or I'm going to see so-and-so's Hamlet. I didn't know anything about the play. Maybe that was half the joy of it, because I really didn't know what the story was, or who anyone was, or whether anyone was famous or not. I just went and experienced this thing. Richard Eyre directed that production, and like, I don't know, 5 years later, I worked with Richard Eyre, oddly enough, and I got to say to him, that is why I'm an actor. This is why we've met now, because of your production. I played Viola at Liverpool Playhouse. I don't think I was very good because I was so incredibly nervous that I think I didn't own the text enough. So I never really saw it as mine. It was this, I was slightly overawed by the fact that I was getting to do this. Even though I loved it and I understood it, I was very keen to do what the director thought I should be doing. So my own ideas got kind of put on the back burner, and that's a shame sometimes, because actually sometimes when the actor feels very connected to the text, really cool things happen. Since what I am to say must be but that which contradicts my accusation and the testimony on my part, no other but what comes from myself, it shall scarce boot me to say not guilty. I like digging. I like roles where I have to dig, that the text invites you to kind of, I like initially being confused and have to figure something out. That's part of the fun for me. It took me a long time to figure out the first scene. I found that really hard, but when I did figure it out, it was so joyous, and you can have a lot of fun with her. To bring out the part of her which is a mum was really important to me as well, and the fact that she's a mother is also an important part of her identity, because a lot of what happens to her, and I think a lot of what she feels is of course there's huge injustice being done to her, but she keeps talking about her honour, and she says, but I'm only talking about that for my children. It's so that's the only reason I'm still here, is for them. So obviously to her there's something about being a mum and leaving these kids behind which needs to be sorted out before she goes, because when she knows she's going. Whatever else happens, my children have to be all right forever. Wherever they end up, they must be okay. And I found that very compelling. Well, also I think she really loves him. This is something we found in rehearsals. I said, this really, you can't do this, any of this, because it doesn't matter unless she really loves this man. And I think she does. She's absolutely in love with him and adores him and would do anything for him. And that's why she keeps coming back and going, why are you like this? This is not, please don't be like this. This is not you. You know, that thing when you love someone, you're trying to get them to be their best selves all the time. You know, this is not really you. It's really not you. Come on, please be that person I know again, please. Perhaps the approach is that she would like to help, that she loves him, so she wants to find him somewhere in this jealous madness again. Where are you in this? So there's an interesting thing about male rage. You know, you go so far and then the pride thing kicks in and you go, no, I can't say I'm wrong, because to say I'm wrong would be worse. So I'm just going to kill my children, kill my wife, just as long as everyone knows that I'm right. We were actually wondering what they'd do. Like, you know, breakfast the morning after the statues come to life. One thing I want to say, I know I'm on here and I'm talking about Shakespeare because I'm acting at the Globe. I think people don't realise the journey lots of people have been on to actually do this kind of thing. So, like I was saying before about my experience seeing Shakespeare or going to the theatre for the first time, I am not a likely person to be on this stage doing this thing. So I think people should really break open their ideas a bit about who should be doing it, like we were just talking about, and who should be watching it and who it's for, because it's for everyone. And I think what the Globe does brilliantly, it's a really democratic space. If you're bored, you can just leave and it's fine. And it's okay if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. But everyone should have the opportunity to have a go and see if they like it for a £5. It's brilliant. So I just think the openness, and then we should just lose all the snobbery about it, and just allow people to hate it if they want to, but then allow people to love it if they want to.